Welcome to Autrom, a world where dragons roam. Welcome, fellow YouTube traveler. I'm Baronen, and in the beginning of 2025, I started working on a world building project that now has gotten the name Autrom. Autrom is a world where all of the people, the dragonkin, wear their souls on the outside of their bodies in the form of a dragon. Everyone's dragon is different from one another, just like souls are. But they are also shaped and equipped to suit their host's needs and occupation. As the host, the dragonkin, grows up, develops their personality, and starts to fit into the society, so does their soul. The dragon changes during this period to fit and conform to the host's needs and settles in its final shape only when the host reaches adulthood. But that is where we are and what the world looks like now. So let's go back to the beginning, the very beginning. There was nothing but an ever-changing sea of energy. Nothing existed. No land, no sky, not even time. Nothing except for this energy, the mana. Something happened. No one knows what. If it was a spark in the sea of energy, or a gentle nudge by a greater cosmic being. But suddenly, some of the mana became matter, and soon a world started to appear. And as you might have guessed, this world was Autrom. First, there was no life in Autrom, but it was as if the mana decided that it was too boring, and so the first life was formed. This was the first great intervention of the mana. And because life is created by the mana, all life carries a small part of it inside themselves. A soul. A few thousand years passed, and a few species stood out from the rest. The orcs, the humans, the dwarves, and the elves. These species started to form societies and got more and more technologically advanced. This is the time when some of them started to keep track of time, and the humans call it the First Age. During the First Age, the first cities started being built, the elves split up from one people into two, and the dwarves started to explore building caves of their own. Some believe that the mana grew fond of these peoples, and that is why the second great intervention happened. These peoples were blessed by the mana and had one dragonkin born each. One orc, one human, one dwarf, and two elves. During the pregnancy, the women who bore the dragonkin felt compelled to pick out a large and beautiful rock to take home. The further into the pregnancy they got, the rocks transformed more and more into dragon eggs, as the souls from their unborn babies fled from their bodies and into the rock. As the first dragonkin, 5 small girls, was born, the eggs hatched, and the first dragons were born as well. The second age, or the first dragon age, as some people call it, had begun. During the second age, the first dragonkin excelled. Having the soul on the outside of the body in the form of a dragon definitely has its benefits. They became stronger, faster, and more intelligent than their peers. Not to mention the benefits of having a flying, fire-breathing beast at your side at all times. This led to them quickly rising to the top of their societies and becoming the queens of their own nations. They all had their own kids, and for each pregnancy, their dragons presented an egg to them. As time went by, more and more dragonkin were born. And because of their longer lifespan, the people who weren't dragonkin started to dwindle in numbers. The fewer they became, the worse they were treated. And after a few thousand years, the last of the original peoples died, and the Third Age was here. The Third Age is where Autrom is right now. All of the people are now Dragon Kin, and this is what the continent looks like at the moment. All of the names are not final. I find names to be the most difficult part of world building at the moment. So for now, I have a few placeholders, but most of the geography is in the right place. All the way to the west, we have the Dwarrens. These are the lands where most of the dwarves live. There's a slight divide between the dwarves. Most of them live in the great city in the mountain, where riches in gold and other material things are what life is about. Although the further away from the mountain you go, the riches in life become what the dwarves value most. The dwarves all have a deep fondness of the ground, and most of them have their house under it. In the villages, most of the dwarves are farmers, but in the mountain, the majority of the dwarves work in the cave industry, digging caves, extracting metal ores and other rare materials like silver, gold and gems. They are the main supplier of iron to the rest of the realm, and they have built vast trading routes that span the entire continent. The dwarves have this strong economical empire, but there is one thing that threatens this empire, and that is the Uruk, who live in the wastelands of the north. Uruk are large, muscular, green-skinned, and their bottom jaws are adorned with large tusks. They are by far the most aggressive of all the Dragonkin, and make their living by hunting and raiding. Since the Dwarrens are the closest, the dwarves are the main target for these raids, and through the ages there have been countless battles on the edge of their territories. If you want to learn even more about the Uruk and their dragons, I recently did a video going over a lot of their lore that you can watch up here in the corner. If we look just a little bit more to the east, we find the plains, where the humans have built large cities since the First Age. Like the dwarves, they have become proficient in farming, and that's how they are able to supply these large cities. We find the human capital in the middle of the plains, on the edge of a mountain overlooking the giant lake. The plains are split up into multiple provinces that all have their own matriarch, but ultimately answer to the queen. They have a strong alliance with the dwarves, who they trade with a lot, and they often help each other out in battle when needed. The sea elves live on the shores and islands in the east. They are truly artistic people, just like the forest elves. But they think law and order is the only way to artistic greatness. Their cities show off this artistic ability and seem to defy gravity. They often build higher than they build wide, and their buildings often reach the clouds. The sea elves are known for having the strongest channelers in the realm, and they have been important in the construction process of these cities. Their lifespans are even longer than the other Dragonkin, and they use this to hone all of their skills until they master them. Some might say that they make everything into an art, even fighting. To the south, in gigantic forests, live the forest elves, high up in the trees. Like the sea elves, the forest elves are artistic in their nature, but instead of law and order, they believe freedom is the way to make truly great art. They have a deep connection with the nature they live in. They treat it with respect and are very mindful to never take more than they need, not to disturb the fine balance of life in the forest. Even further south are the cold plains, where a second group of humans live more of a nomadic lifestyle. They herd large groups of animals that they live off of. They eat the meat from the animals, make clothes out of their hides, and tools out of their hoofs and antlers. These people left the plains in the beginning of the Second Age to find their own way of living. Like the forest elves, they have a strong connection with the environment that surrounds them and treat it with respect. Some say that they have the ability to commune with the spirits of nature, and some say they can even talk to the mana itself. And that is a small taste of what Autrom is and will be. Now, there are a few places on the map that I haven't talked about yet, and that is partly because I haven't decided entirely on what they contain, and partly to leave you with something to wonder about. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider giving it a like. And if you want to learn even more about Autrom, there is a video on screen right now where I go over a lot of Uruk lore. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. With that said, I want to thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay.